It's now time to talk about team captains. Whether you realize it or not, your team already has team captains. In a crisis, who would your team follow? Outside of your leadership, who are they going to next look to? These are going to be reps, their peers that are on the team today. And in this section, we want to identify who those are and are they a good fit for right now on your team or for the future of your team. So if you think about sports, all the team sports that are out there have team captains. Why is that? Have you ever asked yourself that? Have you ever been curious about that? And it has to do with out on the field or in the field of play, the team has to have somebody to look to in a moment of uncertainty. They can't stop and look to the sideline all the time. They can't stop and look to the coach. They need to know who the team captain is that's their leader on the field for when the coach can't be there. And just like you're the coach of the sales team, who does the team look to when you're not available? This is important because if it's the wrong person or the person you don't want them looking to, you need to know about that as soon as possible so that you can start making arrangements on who is the team captain. But most importantly, you've got to figure out a way, without manipulating the situation, you've got to figure out how to make it a peer decision of who's really the team captain that also works in alignment with you and your team. So let's talk. So by the end of this session, you're going to understand, if you don't already, that team captains already exist on your sales team. So you want to be able to size them up, and you need to find out if they're going to be the right fit for you long term. So team captains, why do they exist in sports? As we talked about, this is the leadership on the field or in the field of play that the team is looking to in a moment of indecision, in a moment of crisis. Who do they look to? Besides the coach, who else do they look to for guidance? And you have this on your team. These are peer relationships that exist, whether it's formal or informal, they exist and they're out there. So who does your team naturally follow? Sometimes you just need to ask directly. But a lot of times you can look, if you just observe, you can figure out who it is that they're looking towards. When you make a statement that seems a bit indecisive to the team or a bit unknown to the team or a bit sketchy to the team, or it's new to the team doesn't know how to react, where do they look? They'll typically look towards the team captain. Also, you can talk to other departments. Who have they seen that's kind of the leader in charge when you're not around, or when another sales manager hasn't been around in the past? Who does the team look to? Who does the team follow? This is very important to identify and diagnose. So, like I said, you may have to engage other departments to get more information about what's going on there. So leadership is a quality. It's not a role. It's not a title. You're not hired as leadership. You're hired as a sales manager. You're there to manage and indirectly lead the team. But the team will also look to its peers for leadership, and that's a little bit more natural and a little bit more informal in that process. If you haven't formally announced, here's your team captains. So this is something you'll have to see if that's the right culture fit to announce something like that, to make it a more formal process, or if you just need to acknowledge who naturally leads the team when you're not available. And then work with that leader to make them the leader that's aiming towards your goals and that they're in alignment with them. So the next thing you have to do is this current team captain or captains, because sometimes there's more than one, are they the right leadership for the team? Do they fit in alignment with you, with your criteria for success? Are they anti-you? Do they criticize openly? Do they not fall in line with direction you're trying to give? Do they always ask the questions that challenge you and your leadership? Sometimes those captains exist, and we'll talk about that in a moment on what to do about those types of individuals. So is the team captain the right fit? So if they are, you want to embrace them. You want to pull them in. You want to acknowledge them openly, especially in one-on-one situations, that you are the team captain. You're the leader the team's looking to when I'm not around, and I need to know that you're on board with that leadership role, that you're going to embrace it. You will find, no matter how confident, arrogant, whatever term you want to use for a confident, arrogant sales rep, whatever term you would use to describe that individual, you'll find them, this is their most humble, where they're like, I'm not really sure I'm the team leader, I don't know. Once you've acknowledged that they are, you just need to help them embrace that and say, look, the team's looking to you. Whether you think they are or not, they do. They know. But they're going to be humble about it. And you need to acknowledge you're the leader that they're looking to when I'm not around. I need to know that we stay in lockstep all the time. So you kind of make them your right-hand person, make sure they're involved in certain decisions, not all, but certain decisions. And you want to make sure that they're in an alignment with your team goals. You want to pull them into your vision as soon as you can. So when we get to the strategy section, as soon as you know what the team goal is going to be, you need to get their buy-in immediately, almost first, right after yours. And you need to get them on board with where you need them. So they need to understand, I'm going to lean on you in these areas, whatever those areas may be that complement your strengths. So typically your weaknesses where you know they're strong, that's where you need to say and acknowledge openly, I'm going to lean on you in these areas, and I need to know that you've got time to commit to that when I need you to. I'm not going to overburden you. I'm not going to lean on you every day, but when I do lean, I need to know that you'll run with it and you'll be there to support me as well. What if they're not the right fit? So the first question is to ask, are they good enough right now? Can you live with them while you recruit other leaders or other sales reps who have leadership qualities who can come in and take over a team captain role? These will be strong, confident reps. Again, talent wins the day. And when we get to the recruiting section, we'll talk about this a lot. But can they be the team captain that you need for right now? Can they get you by while you're trying to recruit better team captains? It doesn't necessarily mean they have to be replaced later on. Once the group gets comfortable leaning on them, they'll always lean on them most of the time. But as you bring in new, more confident reps, competent reps as well, the shift will happen naturally to where they'll follow other leadership, and they won't necessarily stop following the old leader. They'll also still look to both. I've had multiple team captains on teams before. I've had as many as 3 team captains on a team of 7. So again, leadership is a quality and a trait, not a role. So then the next question you have to ask yourself is, can you recruit the talent for a better team captain? And that's on you. Those are on your shoulders. Hopefully you're confident enough to believe you can. But if you are always asking yourself, well, why would anybody come work for me? You've already got your answer. You have to be able to tell a positive story. You have to be able to tell a story that people want to get on board with when you're recruiting. And so when we get to strategy and recruiting, we'll talk about how you want to share that openly with the people you are recruiting. And for the people that buy into your story, they'll come along automatically. You won't have to recruit them as hard as you think you will. And if the person that you're assessing that's currently the team captain is really a bad fit, they're negative, they've got a bad attitude, they don't want to get on board with anything you have to say, maybe they interviewed for your job and didn't get it and they're pouting about it. These are people that sometimes if you cannot coach them out of it, you may need to assess that they need to be removed. They need to be excised out of the team and just let go. And when we get to offboarding, we'll talk more about this. But this is something you need to be prepared that if you cannot get them to be a positive influence for the team as a team captain, as the leader of the team, then they've got to go. And that's just an unfortunate consequence of them having that attitude. So in conclusion, you should know with investigation and inquiries in or just observation, it should be very easy to figure out who the captains of your team, who the captain or captains of your team are right now. And you should be able to say, are they make or break? Can they make or break you? Do they make or break you right now? You need to be able to identify, size that up, and say, these people are on, these captains are on board with what I'm trying to promote for the team in terms of what I define as success. They're on board, or they're not. And if they're not, can I get them there? Are they good enough for right now? Or do they just have to go because I can't get them to change their attitude towards me or my goals? So do you have the right best team captains that you can? And if you don't, can you recruit them, and how soon? That's something you have to ask you, because recruiting falls on your shoulders. And when we get to that section again, we'll talk about that in depth. So your action plan for this session is to complete the team captain's worksheet and confirm if they're a good fit or not. And just so you can see, on the team captain's worksheet, it's a very simple worksheet with just 4 questions. You need to fill this out and identify on paper who you believe the team captains are. This will help you in your questioning when you meet with your reps for the first time. Does the team agree that these are the team captains and who they're following in a time of crisis or need? And does the team captain agree that they are this, and whether or not they want to be humble about it or not, can they embrace it and agree to get on board with what you're trying to drive for success?